Independence Act of 1947, and this independence word, it has appeared in the title only. Otherwise, it was a transfer of power from Gora Angrez to the Kala Angrez, and lot many compromises had been really thrust, and they were there, and those compromises had not been shared with the public.
So, can you explain the term Gora Angrez and Kala Angrez?
Okay, Gora Angrez means Britishers, or Kala Angrez means those who received this transfer of power under the Dominion state. Even our constitution says it's a union of states. Nowhere it says it's a republic. It's nowhere it says so.
So those people who received the transfer of power, they are Kala Angrez means they were Indians.
Kala Angrez means Indians. Yes, you are very right.
Oh.
And unfortunately, the Kala Angrez, or so-called the Indians, they were not the elected people by the Indians. They were the chosen by the selected by the Britishers themselves. And Jawaharlal Nehru was one of them. Basically, Jawaharlal Nehru did not get even a single vote in the working committee. And whereas the Sardar Patel got 12 votes, and Kripalani got 2, and 1 vote probably got someone else got. But Jawaharlal Nehru did not get even a single vote. So he was not the person who was chosen by the Indian masses. He was not represented by the say Indians. Still, the Britishers managed through the diplomatic process, putting the pressure on Gandhiji, and finally he was thrust on the working committee, and he became the president. And for this very purpose, Mahatma Gandhi was used as a means to make it happen. It is, many people may not be knowing that the partition treaty, or which was signed between Jawaharlal Nehru and Jinnah, it was a great act of conspiracy, because Lord Mountbatten asked the Lady Lord Mountbatten, who was the secret agent, to bring Nehru and I will say Nehru and Jinnah. So Lady Edmina asked whether both of them, they have to be brought together. So Lord Mountbatten said, no, first bring Jawaharlal Nehru and thereafter bring Jinnah. When Jawaharlal Nehru was taken to the Shimla, and he was given that document, Partition of India. So he said that, and he was asked to sign it. So he said no, he cannot sign it because the matter has not been discussed in the working committee. Then he had been shown some pictures. Those you can very well imagine, they were a little, some kind of compromising pictures. And Nehru was threatened, if you did not sign it, then these pictures will be published tomorrow. Under that pressure, Nehru was made to sign that agreement of the partition. And it was, India was made to believe that Jinnah was adamant, he was not agreeing. But you can very well appreciate, when Jinnah was not sitting in front of Jawaharlal Nehru, then I failed to understand how he could be adamant. All concocted story. The partition of agreement, it was thrust on us. Imagine we had an experience of 1946 of the direct action day. How many people lost their life? What kind of the bloodshed had happened? There were the great degree of the, all kind of the nasty things happen, including the rapes, murders, and etc., etc. So anybody could have imagined the situation that the partition is not going to be an easy thing. A child would have been intelligent enough to understand that the partitions require the greater degree of the security protocols. Those should have been discussed and deliberated and should have been put into the place, so that if even the partition had to take place, it should have been a very peaceful, well-conducted partitions. What I am trying to say, when there was a bloodshed was taking place and almost 20 lakh odd people, they lost life. And no security arrangement worth naming, they were in the place. I feel that adequate precaution had not been taken. Otherwise, these were very, very important issues which should have been discussed. Under this, we received transfer of power, and our leaders deliberately thrust all the rules, regulation, act, system into the place which were created by the Britishers, enacted by the Britishers to rule we people, the slave of Britishers. So these laws, these processes were deliberately designed to insult you, to oppress you, to humiliate you, and to demean you. And they